Welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and the Trinity. I do want to say that I am not feeling 100% today. So if I am not super great at checking the chat, we do have a helper who is going to be kind of monitoring the chat box today. And so as with last time, we are going to get a bit of messaging from the Trinity, and then we are going to go into the ReSource guided journey. For those who want to pop off at that point, you can always access the rest of the webinar later through the recording. So for those of you who are feeling like you just want to get a burst of the Trinity's energy, I will talk you through the time to just drop off before we go into the healing component of the session, where we join together to do a collective healing journey. So for those of you who are just joining us today, my name is wReese. I run a company called One Illuminated that specializes in helping people anchor in higher frequency and open up to their intuitive aspect. The course aspiration for this Trinity series, ReSource and Shine Your Light, is one, to ensure that we are helping people know how to connect in with their divine source energy and to feel really resourced by this beautiful, ever-present well that we sometimes, because we are anchored in this physical world, don't feel connected to. And so it's a way to really resource your energy field, bring in some divine energies to fuel your physical body during this very challenging time. And then we will also be going into a collective journey to offer healing out into our world. As I mentioned last time, when I shift over into the channeled component, it takes me a little moment or two to get that energy really flowing through me and allow myself to surrender and allow the Trinity to kind of take over and really speak through me. For those of you who are, again, just joining us now, there is a video from the last session that spends a little bit more time explaining who the Trinity is, but so we're not going to really go too much into that, other than to say that they are in many ways a container for source energy, representing the pillars that are force and form and balance, as well as expansion. So the balance energy also holds an expansion energy with it. So in some ways they are pillars, in some ways they are a container. In history, we have heard of them as triple gods, triple goddesses, and also the divine mother god, father god, child god. So that is who we are with today. And I am excited to allow myself to go inward and allow them to be with you fully present. We are the Trinity, and we are incredibly pleased to be with you today. We wish to speak to you today about the universal law of gender. And as mentioned in our last session, this is not about physical gender. This is mental gender. It is about masculine energy as force and feminine energy as form. It is action and idea, doing and being, giving outward and going inward. Your world was once dominated by divine feminine energy, matriarchies birthing and co-creating a new world in concert with Gaia. This was a lovely time, and yet the free will desire for expansion and externalized power created a shift around 3400 BC. This expansion required a more actionable energy. And so around the end of what your historians call the pre-dynastic period, your world saw a significant shift into the divine masculine energy. The authors of your documented history have managed to minimize the matriarchal origins. However, you are now in a time when the pendulum is swinging back to the divine feminine. Yet, the true opportunity from our perspective is to actually achieve true balance between the two. And this is what we are wanting to share with you today. Balance is what truly begets a holistic expansion, thereby achieving what many term an ascension, but what we would say is a return for Gaia. And for many of you, to the seat of your true frequency of origin. Many of you who are with us on this call today are not soul seeds of humanity on earth, meaning your origination has not come from the expansion energy of this planet, but from other realms of the universe. Some of you are here from the original source expansion. We often hear your people referring to old souls. And indeed, we want to share with you that many who resonate with this old soul vibration are from a timeless space. Someone asked last time how old we are. And we would say that we are without an age, and we are at the same time every age. Balance of force and form requires inspiration, creativity, and strategic decision-making at an individual level as well as in community. It requires both going inward and deconstructing what is not serving you as individuals and rebuilding yourselves, and then looking at the soul of your greater collective, co-creating strategically to improve your world in a way that is methodical and with every system in mind. It is allowing consciousness to descend from your ability to connect with your true source origin or divine spark, and to then make both strategic and tactical decisions at the micro level that impact and make better the macro. So what can you do as an individual to ensure balance within your own field? We recommend strategic assessment of where you are in life, to take that time out that allows you the deep and nourishing self-care of looking at body, mind, and spirit and your role in the community by knowing the truth of who you came here to be and taking actions accordingly. We find as we witness many on spiritual pathways, many who might be drawn to a call like this, to allow themselves to get lost in the spiritual, or allow themselves to believe that to be spiritual, one must give up being out in the world and being influencers in places that are out of harmonic resonance with their true self. And we would say to you, the real work is actually being on the spiritual pathway and going out into the world to fulfill your mission, to make the changes, to be those anchor points that allow the rest of your collective to be aligned. And so this requires both going inward and outward, inward in reflection, outward in creating a truth, creating a way of being both at the individual level and at the community level that allows you to shine your light, fulfill your mission, and create a better world for yourself, for your future children, for the world around you, for this planet. Today, we are going to journey again to resource your body, your mind, and your spirit. using the notion of consciousness descending from source to spark your inner truth. Last time we took you on a journey of reaching up into source, and this time we are going to take you into a journey that is a little bit different. And this is to help spark your inner truth. It is our hope that you will continue to use the journeys that we provide to you to assist you at this time of great shift. You are in a time of great shift. Most of you here on this call volunteered to be here in order to shine your light, and therefore we are so excited and pleased to be working with you and helping you understand how truly powerful you are as co-creators. Again, in our journeys, we will visit the supernal triad that we spoke about. This is the upright diamond colored triangle joining your brain hemisphere with your gateway chakra. And this triad begins the descent of your source connection into your personal field. It is the one and the many. The ethical triad or triangle is the downward facing gold colored triangle joining your shoulders to your heart. Some of you, as we discovered last time, may need to expand this triangle to include your throat. If this is the case, you may feel a slight discomfort or restriction of the ethical triangle. The need to include the throat suggests that your divine purpose requires you to consider how expression plays a part in your life, perhaps related to current events or to the information you are learning here. This is solar energy. It is what drives and constrains expressions of the universe. And then again, we will visit that alchemical or magical triangle, joining the hips to the pelvic floor or the root. This is related to your lunar energy. It's intuitive, and we find it to be the great receiver of creation energy that then allows you to anchor what you came here to do into the physical world. So we are going to jump right into the ReSource, and then we'll move into the healing journey, and then we will open it up with the time we have left for Q&A. So we want to remind you, if you are not visual, to use your imagination. Draw or doodle. Just know or intend that it is okay if you do not get strong visuals. You may sense or feel rather than know or see. And whatever you receive is what is needed for you to resource. Transmissions of this nature unpack themselves within you when and how your system is ready to receive them. Some of you may fall asleep, and this is also just fine. Though you are hearing words, you are in truth receiving a transmission which may result in a recalibration of your system. We encourage note-taking if you wish to reconnect with what you are given in your resource journey. We want to also mention, because this happened in the last journey, that if you experience discomfort, there may be a resistant frequency within you. If you can isolate the frequency during the journey, simply acknowledge it, ask it to leave your field with a stated intention to revisit the resistance later so that you can learn what its message is. If the discomfort remains, visualize a platinum blue spiral enveloping the discomfort, and you might even at that point consider diverting your journey to exploring the resistant frequency. When we feel tightness in our body, it is a message. It is a way that our body is saying we're not ready for something, or there is some dissonance that must be addressed. So understand that it does not mean that you are not aligned with our frequency. It simply means there is something within you that wants to be recalibrated. So again, we want to remind you that you may wish to leave after being resourced. We are going to return the voice to your channel, and we will hold space for you. We will be with you in your own spaces. And then when we come back, we will open things up for Q&A. So we want you to go ahead and get comfortable. Okay, so as a reminder, and for those of you who are just joining us today, we will be referring to left feminine form and right masculine force. But we want to say that if you feel guided to move right to left instead of left to right, to follow that instinct. So some of us are here as mirrors and gateways, and our body map may be opposite the generalized information of which side of your body holds divine feminine, which side holds divine masculine. So I want you to just go ahead and get ready to receive this energetic transmission from the Trinity. For those of you who might wish to revisit what comes to you, you may wish to have something to jot notes down. So just relax and allow your breath to connect to source energy through a stream of connective light. Invite source to clear your field with white light, taking a few deep clearing breaths into your pelvic floor. Strengthen your physical and etheric bodies with gold light. Taking deep breaths into your pelvic floor, and then directing a few deep breaths into the lower lobes of your lungs to open up receptivity. So just breathe with that. Allowing that golden light to flow. And now we want to have you visualize diamond light. With diamond light, you sealing clarity. So allow that diamond light to stream through you, breathing into your root for a few breaths. Breathing that diamond light into the lower lobes of your lungs. Allow these light codes to infuse your body, mind, and spirit with their frequencies. Bring your awareness to Mother Earth and invite her to send up her grounding, centered, loving energy. Now set the intention to resource your body, mind, and spirit, to allow Source and the Trinity to infuse you with a deep remembrance of your strength, your innate knowing, your innate ability to source and heal yourself. And now we want you to focus your awareness on your ears and then move inward and up to each hemisphere of your brain. Visualize or simply intend for the first line of a diamond triangle to form across your hemispheres, joining left brain to right brain, form to force. And then visualize the end points, sending upward connective lights to that gateway chakra, 6 to 7 inches above your crown. Allow the triangle to grow its vibration. Now place your awareness in front of your heart and envision the Trinity as a link to Source. Ask the Trinity to give you a sacred geometry, a shape, and just trust whatever shape comes to you. It may come as a visual, a knowing, a feeling. Again, we ask that you trust it. Bring this sacred geometry into your supernal triangle. Allow this triangle of source energy merged with this shape to vibrate and to infuse your body with whatever your body is wanting and needing from this frequency. Release to source all that you are wanting to release. And just breathe here for a few breaths, filling the voids that you have just created through that release with the pure source energy. Now focus your awareness on your shoulders. Visualize or simply intend for the first line of a golden triangle to form across your shoulders, joining left to right, form to force. Next, visualize those points at each shoulder, sending down into your heart a connective line to form a triangle of gold. Allow the triangle to grow its vibration. If you feel the need to expand the triangle to include your throat, do so. And just breathe there with the vibration of that triangle. Now place your awareness in front of your heart and envision Soul, our beautiful sun, in front of you. Ask Soul for a sacred messenger. This messenger may be anything from a flower to a light code to a person, could be a song or a mantra or a guide. Bring this sacred messenger into your ethical triangle. Allow this triangle of ethical energy to vibrate and to infuse this area of your body with whatever your body is wanting and needing from this frequency. Releasing to Soul all the burdens and worries, all the grief. Breathing here for a few breaths. Filling the voids that have been created through release with an infusion of beautiful solar energy. Now focus your awareness on your hips, visualizing or intending for the first line of your silver triangle to form across your hips, joining form to force. Then visualize each hip simultaneously forming a connection to the pelvic floor, allowing that magical triangle to form. Allow it to pulsate. Feel its vibration. Now place your awareness in front of your heart and envision Luna, our beautiful moon, in front of you. Ask Luna to give you a sacred object. This might be a crystal, a jewel, an ancient artifact, a futuristic technology. Trust what comes and bring this sacred object into your alchemical triangle. And allow this object to merge with the triangle. And just receive that vibration from Luna. Allow your body to receive whatever is wanted and needed from this frequency. And allow yourself to release whatever is ready to be released. And breathe here for a few breaths. Again, filling the voids that you have just created with that release, with this beautiful lunar alchemy. Now bring your awareness to your gateway chakra. In inviting your divine source aspect to ignite. Allow a pillar of your own light code to form. And just breathe with your divine source energy pouring down, connecting these triangles, lighting up your central corridor. Allow it to reach down into the core of Mother Earth and breathe deeply, allowing source energy to descend through the same pillar of light, merging with you, pulsating with you, strengthening you, and casting your intention down into the core of Mother Earth. Invite her to ascend through this same pillar of light, merging with you, pulsating with you, reminding you of your truth. And just breathe. Next, visualize or imagine that you are entering into a sacred space upon the earth with the Trinity. Whatever way they show up, whatever landscape you find yourself in, trust that you are where you most need to be. Receive all the supportive energy that surrounds you, allowing yourself to be nurtured along this journey. Take it all in, allowing your body to receive all that is being offered. And just breathe here for a few breaths, allowing yourself to receive with grace. And allow yourself to journey with the Trinity. Enjoy the landscape. You might find yourself in beautiful reflection spaces. Know that each place that you are invited to enter has healing for you. Remember that healing can be simple or complex. It can be words, thoughts, knowings. It can be feeling, it can be releasing, cleansing, or it can be a stirring. Whatever is needed will show up. Trust your divine higher self to receive and to guide you. We will leave you in this connection for about 11 minutes, and we will guide you on the return. We ask that you begin wrapping up this part of your journey. For those who are going to drop off the call to enjoy this resource on its own, please anchor properly into your body with deep grounding breaths and bring yourself present, pulling up Mother Earth energy for grounding. Drop off the call when you are ready. For those staying with us, breathe. Allow your pillar of connection to grow. Envision that you are connecting your stream with everyone here on the call. Feel the vibrations of the collective energy. Feel the Trinity supporting the collective. And just breathe with that connection for a few breaths. And we want you now to envision your favorite tree, or the tree you feel most called to focus on today. Visualize or imagine that you are merging with this tree. You might visualize yourself walking your spirit into the tree, or allowing the tree to envelop you in their energy. Just trust whatever feels right. Allow yourself to feel your body as the tree. Focus your awareness on the roots, feeling that root energy traveling into Mother Earth, allowing this divine connection. Going deep into the earth, feel your roots connecting with other nearby trees and the collective that is here with us today. And just breathe with that. Then move upward to the trunk. Allow the central corridor of your physical and energy bodies to feel the strength inherent in the trunk of your sacred tree. Feel your limbs as the branches. Allow your awareness to merge into the leaves and feel the wind blowing around you. Now place your awareness on your pineal gland, your third eye. We are going to bring in the threefold flame of love, power, and wisdom. So imagine that spark of a pink flame. Allow your third eye to feel its flicker. Feel the vibration of divine love. Now bring in the blue flame. Allowing yourself to feel it intertwine with the pink. And then bring in the yellow flame. Again, allowing these flames representing love, power, and wisdom to intertwine, to join together, to grow, sending them upward and outward, feeling them in every cell of your body. Now imagine that collectively we are a beautiful, sacred forest upon Mother Earth, here to infuse our beautiful planet and our human collective with our divine light, our innate power as healers joined together. And we want you to set the intention to shine your light, offering healing, peace, any other healing intentions that you have for yourself first. Allowing that flow of intention to breathe out and to be received by the beloved within. And breathe with that for a few breaths. And now shine your light outward to your family and your friends. To all of the amazing workers who are supporting us during this challenging time. To those who are suffering in the collective. To all sentient beings on the planet, including all of the elements. And to our sweet Mother Earth. Infuse your light and direct our connected stream, this powerful collective stream of source energy, to all those who are open to receiving. Allow your energy to go where it is most needed. Trust the call. And we will leave you here to allow for your directed intentions. Trusting that this powerful collective of healers can infuse our world with a healing energetic that resources the world around us. So we're going to ask that you begin wrapping up your journey. Bringing your awareness back to the collective sacred forest. Offering an expression of gratitude to the collective energy, kindred spirits, to the Trinity, to your sacred tree, call all of your energies back into your body. And just look around and make sure your field is clear, that you are not bringing anything with you that is not wanted. Allow yourself to look out at that sacred forest, to affirm your knowing that it is always with you. And as you bring your awareness back into your physicality, it is important to extinguish the flames from the third eye. So allowing each to die out. You might want to use water energy if you feel that it is still wanting to burn brightly. And once the flames have dissipated, visualize the dissipation of each triangle, taking deep, clearing breaths. Anchoring back into your body. Pulling up Mother Earth energy if you need to feel grounded. Bringing your awareness present. On behalf of the Trinity, we want to open things up for Q&A. We also want to thank you for all the beautiful energy that you shared outward. So questions need to be typed into the chat box. If anyone has any, that is. So while you guys were in your journeys, I did get some messaging that the Trinity wanted me to make sure to share, and that is, it's really important as you look at this self-care piece, where earlier they said part of self-care, or perhaps even the most significant part, is knowing yourself and what you've come here to contribute. And what they said to me is, it's really important for folks to see self-care, this nourishing part of self-care that they are saying of knowing yourself, as an exercise of realignment. It is a strategic process where you look at where your values and your beliefs might be in dissonance, where the things you are wanting to achieve or do, or you're knowing that there is something you are here to do, is out of alignment with the way you are living your life. So they're saying the best way to exercise self-care is to live the life that you came here to live. So resting is important, but this reflection and this assessment at a very strategic level is crucial, especially at a time like the current timeline we are in. So it's really being encouraged that you spend some time in strategic planning for your life. And so for those of you who are my students who've been with me for a while, you know that every year around my birthday, I do strategic planning for kind of my whole life as I look at the year coming up. And I look at what I wanted to accomplish. I do a reassessment of my values even. Like I think are taught really well how to look at that with regard to career, but not so much with regard to relationship, spiritual life, day-to-day activity. And so they're really encouraging this piece of stepping back at least annually and making sure that you are actually aligned with the life you're creating. So you're powerful creators, but some of us are not that great about being intentional with that creation. And so they're just suggesting that you look at incorporating some sort of strategic planning for yourself, and also in any partnerships that you are in. So primary relationship, family, that you are also spending some time in this strategic space in those places so that you can build out community, build out your truth, and feel really supported in that. They're also wanting me to tell you to be really intentional about your meditations when you go into meditation. That it is really lovely to have that peaceful, tranquil vibration, but to kind of mix up that meditative practice with allowing yourself to also receive guidance that can be actionable. So a lot of times, and I think this came up, I'm not sure if it was in a private email to me or in the last session, this sort of thing of like, well, how do we create this balance, and how do we really move forward with our lives, and how do we remove blocks? Well, first, it's about gaining clarity about what it is you're trying to create and knowing your values around that, so that you can see where you're out of alignment. So if you know what you're wanting to create, and you know what exists in your life, where you're happy, what things make you angry, you know, allowing yourself to feel into your emotions, you can look at where the gaps are. And it is the closing the gaps and the knowing of your true self that allows you to access both that divine feminine, divine masculine energy, and then create the expansion energy, create that sort of child energy that can grow and expand and make the world a better place. So I am just going to go take a look at these questions. I'm really not so great at, okay, so I'm just gonna try to, yeah, sorry, sorry I'm not a great multitasker in terms of like reading the chat box. So the first one that I'm seeing is, what does it mean if you have a hard time visualizing or opening one triangle but not others? It means that that is the triangle that's holding some resistance. And so allowing yourself to really go into the essence of that particular energetic. So looking at the information that was given about the 3 different areas and allowing yourself to reflect on what is the thing that could be blocking me from this. The Trinity is saying that when you have that challenge, to actually go in and talk to your body, that your body can tell you everything that you need to know. So the Trinity is saying that your body is the best like messenger for you, and to ask it what it's holding that is related to resistance, but also to ask what it is needing or wanting. So body as messenger, they're saying, remind people that the body never lies, that it always tells you the truth if you actually listen to it. So I want to just take a moment to acknowledge that the Trinity is sitting outside of me as opposed to channeling from within me. And the reason is that they have recently been suggesting that I take a lot of rest, and channeling requires a lot different sort of frequency and vibration to move through me. And so they said that for this Q&A, they want to just sit outside of me in order to not further tax me at a physical level. So just FYI why they're not talking through me. And then okay, so the next thing, symbols, circles, a white vibrating circle. So spheres mean many things, and I want to be very specific to Christina, who's asking, because the Trinity is wanting you to know that the vibrating circle is an aspect of you. And so they're saying to sit with, okay, sorry. They're actually suggesting that those of you who are not super familiar with sacred geometry spend some time watching some sort of YouTube video. So let me just see if I can figure out which one they're talking about. Okay, they're showing me drawings. I believe that what they're referring to as they're showing it to me is like spirit science, the spirit science channel or something along those lines. I think if you type in to YouTube spirit science and sacred geometry, that you will find what it is that the Trinity is wanting you to watch, Christina, and anyone else who wants to get kind of an overview of sacred geometry. For those of you who want to go dive deep into sacred geometry, I'm actually going to be teaching a sacred geometry harmonics class. I teach a series called Harmonics, and the next new slated one is geometry. So I am going to, apparently there's like some kind of formal Q&A thing, and that would make it so much easier than me scrolling this chat box. So I just found it. And the question on there says, last week it was said the Trinity might speak on humans, and will there be an end to the human form? So, oh my gosh, they're giving me like tingly things. So I want to say that they're so super excited that they're like, ooh, maybe we should just sit in your body to respond to this question. But the balance energy of the Trinity is like, no, we're going to hold back. So they're wanting to be kind and gentle to me. So I appreciate that. What they're saying to me is that humanity will be here based on expansion and sort of being outside of timelines for a very long time, but the future of humanity is, well, they're saying some of you might not like to hear this, but when we look at the future of humanity and we look at the timelines, there is a future that is a, they call them future human hybrids. And within that energetic is integrated AI energy. So this is something that, you know, we're already seeing. Well, maybe we're not seeing it in a big public way, but it is something that is already happening. And so there is a future human hybrid race. My guides have explained that in the future, they will call themselves the Asusani, and that the Asusani themselves will have a split or a merger within their race, where there are those who remain on this planet and there are those who go off planet to another galaxy to form a new world. So the future of humanity is interesting and complicated, complex, but very fascinating, because many of these future human hybrids come back into this timeline as guides for us. I have guides who are of the Asusani that have introduced themselves to me and have wanted me to share some things with different groups. And so it'll be interesting to see when they become more and more present. But that is kind of the short answer to the question there. And the next question that I am seeing relates to pain or twisting in the right ovary, especially when making contact with the Trinity. And they are telling me that this is an invitation to explore your divine mother aspect. And so the twisting in some ways is about you coming into alignment with yourself about how you use that divine mother energy. Especially, they're saying, especially with regard to what you are wanting to create in the world. So they want to be very clear that as they see it, it's not specific to like children, but more to creation through expression. Yeah, they're showing me this like creative energy that's really trying to kind of push up against you and remind you of this amazing gift that you have. So it's some form of creative expression, perhaps even through art. So hopefully that makes sense to you. I'm going to try to scroll the chat box, but if anybody wants to pop anything into the Q&A box, that is so much easier for me. Okay, and then there is an ask about the ringing in the ears, wanting a reminder. And ringing, it, what they have said and what they're saying again is that when we have a ringing or a discomfort, it is a guided frequency that we are holding that may not want to be open to receiving all of the Trinity's energy. So they say that it could be a, while the Trinity as a container is able to hold all frequencies along the continuum of light and dark, not all frequencies that we work with might want to be held in that way. And so they say that when you hear the ringing, to wrap it or coil it in a spiral of platinum blue light, and then to ask it to set itself aside with the intention and knowing that you will come back to it to inquire and find out what that messaging is about. When I go into your specific field and ask the Trinity what that is, they actually say that there is a frequency from a past life that your spirit is holding, that your physical body is also holding, and that there is some clearing of that energy that would be really helpful. So there's past life, and I'm getting some ancestral lineage type stuff as well. So I know that I have at least I believe I have a session with you coming up, and we can address that. And they say we can course correct that there. So I just glanced over and asked the Trinity to be more specific with their answers. And I guess I would need to know what specifically you want to have more specific answers about for me, because they're just directing me to keep going down this list of questions that is popping up. The next question that I'm seeing is, will there be a hybridizing between elemental form as well in this future? Referring to AI evolving into the human form. They are saying yes. Will there be reconnection with our planet in this dimension ascension timeline? Will there also be reconnection with our planet? So the Trinity is wanting to say that yes, that hybridizing is part of the pathway, that free will infuse kind of varying levels of that, and essentially how they're going into like just a sort of body of research and advancement, and how well it is received by the collective that is in existence at the time of the introduction. So they're showing some secret projects that are already moving this forward that haven't been rolled out because of wanting to prevent perhaps some fear energy from happening. And everything that they're giving me about the sort of future human hybrids is actually quite positive. So there's a lot of advancement in collective ways of operating. There is a split timeline and some pivot points around the relationship between humans and our planet. And this is where we see the sort of separation of the future human hybrid race that they call the Asusani. So many of the Asusani flee this planet. That relocation is actually a fleeing of this planet because of the failure of the collective as a whole to course correct how we treat our planet. Those who remain have an attachment to Earth and perhaps have a higher percentage of human DNA versus AI DNA. And that particular collective stays here. And because the population density shifts, in some ways it's a strategic and aligned decision between those who leave and those who stay to actually relocate in order to have population control, if you will, in order to free up Mother Earth to heal, but also to maintain a human race on this planet. So hopefully that addresses that question. Mika, the question about the Merkaba and sacred geometry, your guides, so I want to say that your guides are coming in to say, yes, we believe that sacred geometry is beneficial to you, and that you learning more about it would be helpful. And they also think that you should watch that video that was referred to earlier from the Spirit Science channel on YouTube about sacred geometry. Karen, the Trinity is saying that it would be beneficial for you to ask the goddess Kali to come in and bring water energy to help balance that, and then to speak to them directly. So I have, okay. The next question I am seeing is there any other recommendation from the Trinity for figuring out our purpose? So what they are saying is that if you can reflect back on a younger version of you to recall what you wanted to be when you were young, that there's information there. They also say to reflect back on all of the things that upset you and make you mad about the world. They say there's information there. And they also suggest that you allow yourself to go into meditation to connect in with your soul signature, which actually has a roadmap. Your body also has a roadmap. So areas that you are drawn, you can actually do a body scan by breathing deeply and very slowly going through your physical body with the intention of scanning for your roadmap. And whatever system, like body system, your roadmap lives in, can be very informative with regard to how to find your life purpose. So I am, because we are at time, I'm going to answer the question about COVID. And the last question that I'm seeing in the Q&A box about third order and AI living here on Earth now. So actually, let's finish up the AI questions. And I'm sorry if you have written a question in the chat box and I am not seeing it, then I apologize. So the guides are saying that they would not necessarily call it the third order, but they would say that there is a living human collective that has a lot to do with the hybridizing that is happening. And they show it to me behind closed doors of some of our major tech companies. So, and I will say that I have often seen closed doors when I look at specific organizations. So there are developments that are happening. There are hybrids that exist, but they say that they are in infant form. So they are saying they are not currently living and working with humans so much because of that infancy stage. So they're not yet perhaps successfully hybridized or successfully growing. They're showing that they are still in a very early stage of sort of research and development, and that they're saying that most of us on this call will not be here when it's truly introduced out into the world in a way that we start sort of living and working together. They're saying unless you happen to work for one of those tech companies and are part of that research. And so that's what they're saying about that. And I just glanced over and saw that there was a question, are they saying that the hybrids will die? No, they're not saying that the hybrids will die. They are saying that the future human race is a human hybrid race, that race is part human, part AI. They are saying that that race has an advanced way of looking at the world, and an advanced way of communicating telepathically in order to make better decisions for the collective as a whole, that they come together to make a decision to go to have a significant amount of the population relocate off planet in order to save Mother Earth. That those who choose to stay here are most probably going to have a higher percentage of original human DNA versus the AI DNA, because of the innate human desire to save our own planet. So the linkage between us as humans and Mother Earth is super strong. And we have, you know, in our current collective, we have just seen that we have come so far away from our own knowing, not just our knowing of the planet, but our knowing of ourselves. And so the shift that we are in right now is to help us remember the truth of what is needed to coexist here. And so this future race is actually quite benevolent and quite beautiful. You know, I think that with every group of people, or, you know, non-humanoid beings as well, who are in physicality on other planets, there are mostly good people, and then there are some bad apples. That's the way it sort of works in our multiverse here. So hopefully that answers that questions. The question related to AI living here, and then the question about whether or not hybrids will die. They're not going to die. They will be around for a very long time, and they have actually come into this timeline as in a telepathic way to help guide people who are open to their energies. And so I just saw this other part of the question where it says, will AI take over mankind? And the answer is no. What will happen is an integration. So I I just asked them, I'm like, well, we have free will, you know, what are all of the possibilities? And they say in none of the probabilities and in the Akashic records, there's no information that states that AIs will take over mankind. But what will happen, from what they're telling me, is that we will see the benefit of the hybridization, and that humankind becomes more advanced because of the strands that are AI. We become better communicators. We become more benevolent. We care more about the collective when we are able to not have as many barriers to true communion with one another. So I am going to go back to the question about COVID, and then I am going to actually close out this session. And we do have one more session next week. So, you know, if people want to email me questions for that session, I'm happy to take them, and we can shape that last session in a way that is helpful. So I had an invitation to actually channel COVID-19. At first I declined. I was like, yeah, no, that's a little bit much for me. I don't really want to be up close and personal with this virus. But then I was kind of reminded by the Trinity of their original message about what is going on. And you know, that message was that COVID is part of Mother Earth's immune response. And that if we allow ourselves to really step back and see the toxic overload on our planet, maybe the direction that we have been going in with regard to overall physicality at every level. So at the level of the individual, you know, our health is collectively not great. Our food sources are contaminated. We have to have something collectively, and Mother Earth chose COVID-19 to be the thing that helps to spark a sort of waking up and remembering that we have to be mindful of the collective. So something this extreme had to be introduced for us to step back and actually think about how our decisions affect our neighbors, our larger community, our planet. And we are seeing like the best of our humanity show up in how people are caring for one another. And we're seeing shifts on our planet as well. So this is a time where we are having a collective event that reminds us of our innate power to heal the fractures in our politics, in our society, in our financial systems, in our healthcare systems. Like, it's not going to happen quickly, but a lot of things that are being sort of deconstructed right now are to show us what we're capable of. One of the things that the virus itself told me was that there are many souls who agreed to take part in this. So they volunteered to come into this timeline with sort of a trigger in their soul signature that would be alighted when, you know, when we kind of reached a tipping point in terms of environmental health and collective human health. And so their agreement was that they would hold this magnet within them that would magnetize this virus. So what the virus said to me is, if you don't have that magnet, and you know that you are part of the reform on the other side, or parenting somebody who is part of the reform on the other side, don't worry about it. Don't do the things that you need to do, but don't allow yourself to get sucked into the fear energy. Trust that you will have the opportunity to fulfill your purpose. Some of the people who are leaving us through this have made that agreement at a soul level. And it's an aspect of that's sometimes challenging because it's so painful. But this is not the only event where there have been souls who have agreed to exit in order to further a movement. I saw it a lot and actually channeled some messages about it in terms of moving forward the some different issues around equality. So it's happened time and time again where souls have come in with agreements to be part of a change. Some come in with a knowing that there is a sacrifice potential, but also knowing that we as a collective have free will, we as individuals have free will. And so what is happening now is that we are given an opportunity to reset and to actually see all of the things that need to be changed. Our job is to actually go inward to see what part of that change did we agree to, and are we still willing to do that? Sometimes we have to renegotiate the soul agreements that we made because of the human life that we have chosen. But by and large, most people will feel compelled to do the things that they came here to do. So at a global level, this is a reset for the planet and humanity. At a micro level for the individual person, this is a time for you to reflect on what you came here to do. Some of us have come here to grow and expand and learn how to be in connection and communion with other people or with the planet or both. Some of us have come here to be wisdom teachers and healers and to run corporations and be in those types of fields when the opportunity to sort of merge science and spirit and love all together in a new way of doing things. So we are in a reset, and it's important for us as individuals to become very clear about who we came here to be, and to find those places that inspire us and find those places that piss us off, because those are the things that help us really see what area to focus on. Not everyone is here to, focus on being a healer the way we see healers. Many of us are here to be healers in different ways, to be healers in corporations, to be healers in environmental science, to be healers by changing policy. So there are many ways, and the thing that you have to do at an individual level is to find your way, to find your truth. I do want to say, for those of you who really enjoy working with the Trinity, they have asked me to begin offering private sessions with them. So those were just opened up today. So it's under, what is it under? Specialty sessions, I think. I had to make a new category, and they're asking me to actually revamp some of my offerings in order to support this more channeled, direct way of communicating with folks who like working with them, because we are in a time of really taking, that deep internal beloved energy and creating the actions that help us be effective in this world, to effectively contribute to these global changes that need to happen. So if you are interested, those are posted, and they asked me to give you a 20% discount on that. So for those who are here in this session, hearing this and want to work with the Trinity, there is a coupon code called ReSource20 that is only good for the Trinity sessions. So FYI, that is there for you. But honestly, you know, going in through deep reflection within yourself, feeling your body, understanding what those body systems relate to, and reflecting it out to the world. So if this is where I feel it in my body, what system in the greater world actually matches up to that, right? So allowing yourself to kind of get a sense of your own anatomy and the functions, and then what equals or matches that vibration in, you know, the physical world outside of your body. So think of the planet and the collective as a body, and your own physical body can give you messages that really reveal a lot. With that, I just want to thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being in this place of offering your collective healing to the world. And thank you for allowing me to work with the Trinity on your behalf. So with that, I'm going to bid you good night, and I look forward to seeing many of you next week at the same time. So thank you so much, and I hope you all have a lovely evening and a lovely week. And with regard to the virus, the virus wants to say to all of you, please stay home. Please stay home. So some of you are not in my area, the greater Seattle area, but for those of you who are, the virus has specifically told me like to be on lockdown for the next 2 weeks. So we are going to see anyone who has that magnetic attractor. If you leave your house, you are likely to pick it up. So please be cautious and please be kind, thinking about how you know, your actions can affect you, can affect your family, can affect your neighbors. So since the virus told me to stay home, I have been like on straight up lockdown. And I encourage you to do the same. And I know many of you can't. For those of you who are actually essential workers working in grocery or healthcare, if you need an extra private resourcing, please feel free to reach out to me. Whether or not my schedule allows it, I'm sure that I can find somebody to help you. I'm going to try my level best to be of support directly to those folks on the front line. So please reach out if you need some extra resourcing out of these sessions. Thank you so much. Have a lovely, lovely evening.